CBS News has learned that about a dozen senators are expected to object to the Electoral College results. Missouri Senator Josh Hawley was the first to say that he would object to the results. Now, Senator Ted Cruz's office released a statement saying that Senators Cruz, Ron Johnson, James Lankford, Steve Daines, John Kennedy, Marsha Blackburn, and Mike Braun, as well as incoming Senators Roger Marshall, Bill Hagerty, Tommy Tuberville, and Cynthia Lummis, also plan to object to the results. Congress will meet Wednesday to certify the election. For more on all of this, I want to bring in CBS News White House correspondent Weijia Jiang. Weijia, thanks for joining us. Happy New Year. So what are you hearing about this objection to certify the election results?
Happy New Year to you too, Lana. So these, just as you mentioned, are about a dozen senators who will join Missouri Senator Josh Hawley, a Republican, in objecting to the victory of President-elect Joe Biden. Initially, it was just Hawley standing alone, and all it takes is one U.S. senator to force a debate and a vote on the election results. And many of his Republican colleagues were actually really annoyed and frustrated with him because that will force them to have to publicly talk about and take a side with either President Trump, who continues to make false claims about widespread fraud, or the will of the people. And so it was going to happen either way. Now you just have more GOP colleagues saying they plan to object as well, which will only draw out the process and make it messy and force these lawmakers to debate and talk about these issues that we've been hearing about since Election Day.
So a lot of messy partisanship as the new way to start off the Congress. But what actually comes from this, Weijia? Is there any way for them to change the outcome of the election, or is this just really posturing for President Trump's supporters back in their home districts?
Well, it takes a simple majority in each chamber in order to reject and not certify the results of the election. Well, who controls the House? Democrats. And so it's sort of a, dead on arrival. However, this does allow Republicans and the president to cast doubt on President-elect Biden's victory. And, that's an important thing for the president, who is really grappling with this loss and is still, to this day, refusing to concede. And so when you think about whether he has potential future political ambitions, and you think about all of these members of the GOP who are standing beside him, critics say it's very clear that this is just a political move to get the president's support and to allow him to, continue this narrative to his supporters that he should have won the election, that the results are not genuine. And so that is a success if you think about it from that perspective for Mr. Trump. But in practice, unless there is a revolt by the Democratic Party as well, this isn't going to change the outcome of the election. Joe Biden won.
So, Weijia, what will this process of the senators objecting formally actually look like on January 6th?
So we see this more as a ceremonial process every 4 years, and we see the vice president presiding over this process. He will take out envelopes one by one that has results from each state out of mahogany boxes that have been used for so many years now, and he will look over the results to make sure that they, look good, essentially. And then in this process, in real time, lawmakers can object to the results. And in order for an objection to count, they have to be co-signed by a lawmaker in each chamber. And again, that will force a debate in each chamber and ultimately a vote. So again, this is going to draw out the process. It's going to take longer than usual for the lawmakers to certify the results, but we are not expecting the end game to be any different, before we learned about these senators objecting to the results. And again, we cannot stress enough that President-elect Biden is going to be certified as the winner on Wednesday.
Yeah, I was going to say these objections are merely their own sense of objections. We still have yet to see any evidence of widespread voter fraud. All right, Weijia Jiang, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Lana.